In this video, I'm going to be ranking all 21 PLLs. So for those of you that are unfamiliar, PLL is the last step of the cube, where when you get all the same color on the top, you have to finish solving the rest of the corners and edges, and there's 21 different algorithms to do that, and I'm going to be ranking all 21 of them. Also, if this video gets to 100 likes, I'll do this with all 57 OLL algorithms. I've been talking for long enough at this point, so let's get straight into the ranking. So number 21 is ePerm. So originally I was actually going to have NBPerm at 21, but after I thought about it, I realized that the ePerm just kind of sucks, because to even start the algorithm, you have to cube rotate up, and cube rotating in PLLs is never good. And second of all, the recognition is really hard to know which angle to do it from. And on top of all that, the algorithm's terrible. I can't think of one situation where I've gotten this in a solve and not locked up on it. Even when I'm practicing it, I lock up all the time. When I get this in a solve, recognition and execution of the algorithm takes me at least 3 seconds, which is terrible for PLL. At number 20, we have NBPerm, and this PLL is only slightly better than ePerm. Well, the actual algorithm is probably worse, but at least the recognition is easy. There's not much else to say about this PLL other than it's slightly better than ePerm, but it's still pretty terrible. At number 19, I have VPerm. And sometimes if I don't lock up, I can do this algorithm pretty fast, and it's not that bad, but I lock up a lot on it, especially if I'm trying to turn a little faster than normal. The recognition for this algorithm isn't terrible, but sometimes it can look like an A-perm because they both have the block in the back. Overall, this algorithm is way better than the two that I had before it, but it's still not great. At number 18, I have NA-perm, and this one's kind of interesting because the algorithm is really long, but it's also really easy to do, and you can do it really fast. The algorithm is mostly R and U moves, which means that it's pretty consistent and I don't lock up on it much. What this algorithm is it's basically a couple setup moves to move these two blocks close to each other, and then it's a J-perm, and then undo the setup moves. So the main thing with this algorithm is it's really fast to turn, and it's also consistent, which ranks it above the V-perm. At number 17, I have GC-perm, and this is the one with the block on the left of the headlights. Now, I don't know why, but for some reason, I just feel like this G-perm takes me the longest out of all of them, so that's why I'm ranking it last out of the G-perms. I think the reason that this one takes me the longest is because the algorithm that I use has a big regrip in the middle of it. At number 16, I have F-perm, and this one's kind of similar to the N-perm, where it's a pretty long algorithm, but you can turn really fast while doing it. It's also pretty easy for recognition. The one thing about this algorithm that isn't good, though, is that it just takes a long time because there's so many moves. Other than that, there's not much else to say about this algorithm. At number 15, 14, and 13, I have the rest of the G-perms. Now, my order specifically would be number 15, the one with the headlights on the left, and then the block closer towards the front. And all of these are honestly pretty similar, but I feel like this one just takes me a little bit longer than the other ones. At number 14, I have the one with the headlights on the left and then the block closer towards the back. And like I said, this one's pretty comparable to the other one, but I think I can do it slightly faster. And then at number 13, I have the one with the headlights on the left and the block in the front. Now, I know a lot of people don't really like G-perms, but I honestly think this one is not even that bad, and I can do it under 1 second, which is really fast for a PLL. At number 12 and 11, I have both the A-perms, and I can do them about the same speed. And I know a lot of people are probably going to disagree with me about putting these so low, but I honestly don't really like them at all, and I seem to lock up on them quite a bit. They also have a cube rotation, which makes them quite a bit slower in a solve. At number 10 and 9, I have the R-perms. So at 10, I have the one with the headlights and then the block in the front. And I think this one's slightly worse, and it takes me a little bit longer to do than the other one, but it's still a pretty good PLL, and this is the point where I would start considering the rest of them to be good, and if I got them in a solve, I'd be happy with it. And then at number 9, I have the one with the block at the back, and I think this one's just slightly better, and I can do it a little bit faster than the other one. I also seem to lock up less on this one for some reason, which is really good. At number 8, I have Y-perm, and I think this one's pretty similar to the R-perms and how fast I can do it, but I think I can do it with slightly better consistency. The algorithm is pretty long, but I feel like I can turn really fast because it's mostly R and U moves. At number 7, I have Z-perm, and this is the first of the edge swap PLLs. This one I can do pretty similar in speed to the Y-perm, except the recognition is a lot better, which gives it a slight edge. The only downside to this algorithm is that it's quite a bit longer than the other edge swap PLLs. And another downside to this PLL is that I seem to mess up the slice moves quite easily. At number 6, I have JA Perm, This is definitely worse than the other J-perm, as it's kind of like the lefty version of it. And depending on the orientation of it, I'll either do it lefty or I'll do the other algorithm for it. This is still a great algorithm, but it's not quite as good as the other J-perm. So now we're into the top 5, and at number 5, I have T-perm. And there's 2 reasons that I think this is slightly worse than the JB-perm. Number 1 is that the recognition is a lot worse, and number 2 is that it's actually 1 move longer than J-perm, as the last move in J-perm is AUF, which doesn't count towards the actual algorithm. Regardless, this is definitely still one of the best PLLs. Number 4, I have the most famous algorithm, which is JB-perm. And like I just said, I think this algorithm is slightly better than T-perm. The recognition for it is great, and it's easily the best algorithm to span. At number 3, I have H-perm. This is definitely the easiest PLL to learn, and it's actually the first one that I ever learned. Also, the recognition for this one is great, and it's probably the best out of all of the PLLs. It's really easy and fast to do, as it's only M and U moves. And finally, at number 2 and 1, I have the U-perms. Specifically, I would have U-A-perm at 2 and U-B-perm at 1 because U-A-perm requires me to do the U move, which is slightly harder. These are both easily the fastest algorithms and take me around 0.5 seconds to do. These are also probably the shortest PLLs and have really great recognition. So that's how I have all 21 PLLs ranked. So that's all for this video, and I would love to hear your guys' opinions in the comments below.